Jane Doe, number 9, Lizette Martinez, gets married over the weekend, and secret grand jury proceedings in R.Kelly's Chicago case were briefly made public. Here are 5 things revealed in the filings. Hello, you guys, and welcome to the channel. If you're new, don't be.
I'm Whitney. Keep it cute, get the boo.
So yes, congratulations are in order for the beautiful Lizette Martinez, the author of Jane Doe number 9. Okay, and I actually read the first chapter of her book, as well as did an exclusive interview with her where we actually discussed dating. Check this out. Question: is Lizette dating?
Yeah, I met someone that I really like.
Oh, you heard it here first. Because I was gonna actually ask you what were you looking for in a guy? Like what's Lizette's
What I'm
type?
looking for in a guy that is funny, a guy that doesn't lie, a guy who is serious about his life, and someone that appreciates me for who I am and what I am. And I think that's pretty easy, right? But these guys are not, they're always looking for the next best thing, or they find out what I'm involved in or what's attached to my name and they don't really want to be involved in it. Or I've had some say, oh, you should just get over it. And then I knew that was not the one for me. And then there was a guy that I really liked that lived in London. And then it just didn't go anywhere. I mean, he's a great guy, but then I found out that he had a girlfriend online and I was just like kind of heartbroken. However, I met someone who is absolutely drop dead gorgeous, smart, funny, has been to 40 countries, so he's cultured. He just thinks the world of me, and I really like him a lot.
Oh, shameless plug. You know who you are if you want.
I mean,
yeah, that was cute, and I really like him a lot.
Yeah, but you know what the thing is? I haven't been in a relationship in almost 3 years.
Wow. Is it because of everything you went through? Okay.
Well, it was a kind of difficult relationship. It didn't end too well. I mean, whatever. I still have respect for him and stuff, but I just didn't trust men. And I was just like, I can't, it's too much going on with all this stuff, with this singer and every hater and the bloggers and I didn't think I was really ready. And look, see how life is like the verdict came out, my book is out, and then boom, I meet someone that I really like and vibe with. It's like the universe.
Did you see that Dominique got married?
I did. I'm very happy for her. She's adorable.
Her baby's adorable and everything, baby. She was like,
I heard she had a beautiful wedding. I saw the pictures.
Yes. We recorded her. For her. So happy for her. Yes. She was like, "What? Okay." So, do you see marriage in your future? Would you get married?
I've never been married, but I do see marriage for myself. Oh. And I honestly, I don't care about a big wedding. To me, it's more romantic if we went to like the justice of the peace by ourselves.
That's what we did, me and my husband.
Yeah, like I think that is so romantic. Just you guys, like that's it. Just me and my husband, and I don't really care to have anyone else there.
Oh, yeah, that's what we did. I was pregnant. Yeah. We're going on 8 years. So I mean, we want a wedding. I want my father. I'm traditional.
Yeah.
I want my father to give me away and all those things. I mean,
yeah, but you're a lot younger than me also. Like, I get you. You know what I mean? Like, I would love my dad to just, you know what, I'm rambling. No, you would be nice is like justice of the peace and then a dinner with the family.
Oh, a nice coordinated dinner. Oh yes.
That's it. That's all I need. I don't care. That's and beautiful. A nice pair of wedding shoes, like blue Louboutins or something like that. Aww. With a cute little short dress lace. That's
Well,
all I want.
that's something bought in
Yeah,
blue.
so something
So,
borrowed blue and something borrowed, I don't know, from you.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean that's amazing. Aw. Well, I see it in your future. I see
Hopefully it works
greatness.
out.
All right, it was an absolute pleasure interviewing Lizette, and we actually built a relationship off camera, like I always do. All right, and gosh, like this was just last year, and I just remember talking to her and telling her that it's coming. Love is coming for her, and I guess she was already in the fold of it. So kudos to Lizette. Congratulations, he is a lucky guy. Okay, very handsome too, child. All right, and not for nothing, Lizette makes the second victim of R.Kelly to get married that I'm aware of, that that I was in close proximity. As you guys can remember, we were developing another story pertaining to the R.Kelly trial, and I announced on here that Dominique actually got married. It was like 24 hours before, what have you, and she released all the videos and stuff like that, and she no longer goes under the name Dominique. She changed her name. And I'm actually friends with her on Facebook. I'm not going to put it out there. It's public, but she lives a very demure life, very low key, if you will. So I'm just gonna let that stay where that's it. If you're friends with her, then okay. But yeah, she got married, a beautiful beach wedding. Had her daughter there, and she got married to her baby daddy. All right, the father of her child, and it was beautiful from what I could see from the videos and the pictures. So congratulations to these wonderful women that, after this whole travesty with R.Kelly, were able to find love and happiness and marriage and pop out kids and all this stuff like that, because trauma has a way of stunting your growth in life, stunting you as an individual. And so to see them just kind of progressing, it's a beautiful thing. So shouts out to Lizette on becoming a newlywed, okay? And I actually reached out to her, let her know congratulations personally through text. So if you go onto her social media, go ahead and tell her congratulations. Leave the hate in the trash, okay? Because nobody got time for that. All right, now, well, as you guys know, we had been covering R.Kelly extensively last year and the years before. Just giving you guys updates, keeping you guys abreast, transcript reading, all to that nature. I've kind of died down here recently because I just want to take my channel to another level and not be so stagnant and not be so surface level and be just, R.Kelly, right? But I thought this was rather interesting, okay? Reported by Chicago Tribune, a recent motion by attorneys for R. Kelly's former business manager, Darrell McDavid, did more than just seek government reimbursement of McDavid's legal fees. It also lifted the curtain on secretive grand jury proceedings that led to the bombshell indictment in the first place. Now, as you guys know, I read that to you guys, that McDavid was trying to have the government deposit their check, okay, to pay for his legal fees, all right? And as we're hearing, a lot of the documents were sealed. And that's why a lot of times I really wasn't reporting a lot of stuff, because it was sealed, right, for the most part. And so they're saying because of this, they were able to, lift the veil, if you will, in making the unusual argument that prosecutors should be on the hook for $850,000 in the wake of McDavid's acquittal. Attorney Bo Brittonley attached transcripts of grand jury meetings and testimony that were supposed to remain under wraps, essentially forever. The transcripts, which were public for several hours Tuesday before prosecutors asked the court clerk to seal them back, detail a crucial February 2020 meeting of the special grand jury where prosecutors were seeking the return of a superseding indictment against Kelly, McDavid, and a third associate, Milton June Brown. Now, while grand jury proceedings sometimes come out in open court in snippets of transcripts to buttress other testimony or impeach a witness on the stand, the Fallons in the R.Kelly case offered a rare glimpse of how prosecutors go about securing an indictment in a high-profile case. Here are some of the revelations in the filings. The grand juries were wondering about something that later became a major issue in the trial. Where was the alleged tape at the heart of the conspiracy charges? Near the beginning of the February 13, 2020 session, a grand jury asked Assistant U.S. Attorney Angel Krull, who was heading up the investigation, quote, "Has the missing porn tape ever shown up? There was like a bunch," end quote. The reference was to what prosecutors called Video 4, a tape Kelly purportedly made at his home on West George Street in the late 1990s, showing him having illegal sexual contact with his underage goddaughter and young woman, Lisa Van Allen. Van Allen testified that she stole the tape from Kelly's collection and sent it to her friend, Keith Morrell, in Kansas City. The conspiracy charges allege Kelly's legal team later hired another man, t-shirt merchandiser Charles Freeman, to get the tape back. Krull told the grand jury panel the tape still, quote, "has not surfaced," end quote, though 4 witnesses had testified to them about its existence and the alleged plot by Kelly's team to get it back. Quote, "I mean, the reason why we don't have it is that you heard testimony about how Mr. Keith Morrell returned that tape to Mr. Kelly's associate and was polygraphed and paid $100,000, end quote, Krull said, according to the transcripts. Quote, "So the reason we don't have that tape is because it was returned to Mr. Kelly," end quote. The tape's absence loomed large at trial, where defense attorneys questioned whether it existed at all and characterized Van Allen, Morrell, and Freeman as liars and extortionists. Now, the trial ultimately acquitted all 3 men of the conspiracy and obstruction counts. Prosecutors at one point showed grand juries evidence about Kelly's illegal marriage to his 15-year-old protege, Aaliyah. As Krull presented the case to grand juries, one of them asked why they weren't charging Kelly with abusing Aaliyah. Quote, "I don't mean this in a disrespectful way or anything," end quote, the jury said. According to the transcripts, quote, "When you first brought up evidence, you showed us the marriage license with him and Aaliyah. So I was wondering why she wouldn't be part of it if he married her when she was a minor and abused her," end quote. Kelly married Aaliyah in 1994. Krull explained, but the law under which they were charging Kelly, enticement of a minor to engage in sexual activity, didn't exist until 1996. The marriage was quietly annulled, and then Aaliyah was killed in a plane crash in 2001. So that's interesting enough, you guys. They were playing by the rules, period. You know, and I'm not to say that New York wasn't, but that's a lot of stuff that Bojangles, okay, wanted to point out severely, you know, case laws and things of that nature. And so I'm happy that the prosecution crossed all T's and dotted all I's when it came to this, basically saying that they didn't do it because they knew that, you know, the law didn't even exist then. So he really wasn't really doing nothing illegal. It was more so frowned upon. Still unclear is why Chicago grand jurors were shown evidence related to Aaliyah if prosecutors ended up not charging him with any conduct related to her. During the trial, U.S. District Judge Harry Lennon Weber barred any mention their relationship, while defense attorneys were allowed to paint a picture of Aaliyah's uncle, Barry Hankerson, as a vindictive control freak out to destroy Kelly's career. Kelly did face charges related to the illegal marriage at his 2021 trial in Brooklyn's federal court, where juries found Kelly guilty of a wide-ranging racketeering scheme. The judge, in that case, sentenced the singer in June to 30 years in prison. We love you, Judge Donnelly. Prosecutors were hopeful that private investigator Jack Palladino would come in to testify or give a statement to the grand jury, but he was killed during a botched robbery outside his home in San Francisco. At trial, Freeman told juries a wildly memorable tale about how Palladino, a famous private eye based in California, was part of a scheme by McDavid and other Kelly associates to pay him up to $1 million to hunt down Video 4, which he said has surfaced with some people in Atlanta. Among the evidence backing up Freeman's story was a written contract he and Palladino signed in August 2001, promising $100,000 plus expenses for Freeman if he recovered a, quote, performance tape, end quote, of Kelly's. Krull told the grand jury in 2020 the contract had only recently been obtained after subpoenaing Palladino, who was also an attorney and working through, quote, all the special rules, end quote, that apply when an attorney is asked to turn over records. Krull said they were still following up on leads from the documents and conducting interviews, and that the grand jury might hear more testimony about them in the future, including from Palladino himself. Quote, we are going through his records and determining whether or not he will come and sit for an interview. And if so, then, well, we'll determine whether he will come and testify, end quote, Krull said, according to the transcript. Quote, so that's a possibility, end quote. But that apparently never happened. On January 26, 2021, Palladino, 76, fell and hit his head on the sidewalk while tussling with would-be robbers outside his home in San Francisco and never regained consciousness. 2 men were arrested and are awaiting trial on murder charges. In the end, Palladino's records may have actually turned out to be more of a help for the defense than a smoking gun for the prosecutors. At trial, McDavid's attorneys were able to show the jury some of Palladino's memos, labeling Freeman's contact with the team, quote, Kelly extortion, end quote, as well as other business records appearing to show the private eye traveled along to Kansas City to meet with Mr. Freeman, contradicting Freeman's testimony that McDavid was there too. And see, a lot of testimony was contradictive, and so that's why I understand why the jury answered as they did with the verdict. Prosecutors learned only after indicting Kelly that one of the accusers was not actually underage during her first sexual encounter with the singer. Van Allen, who was a key prosecution witness at the trial, told the federal grand jury in 2019 that she was 17 when she met Kelly at a music video shoot, the same claim she had made repeatedly in previous years, including as a prosecution witness in Kelly's 2008 Cook County trial. She became, quote, minor 2 in the initial Chicago federal indictment, which charged Kelly with abusing her. But after that, Krull told jurors in 2020, a federal investigator tried to nail down the date of the video shoot. It was apparently the first time any authorities attempted to independently verify Van Allen's age at the time she met Kelly. The person who owned the house where the video was shot still had records of the rental, which showed it was filmed just after Van Allen had turned 18, Krull told grand juries. So, minor 2 was dropped from the indictment, becoming instead individual D, a cooperating witness, but Krull told the panel Van Allen, quote, is very important still to the indictment with respect to the obstruction of justice allegations, end quote. Van Allen testified at length during Kelly's trial, saying she had been mistaken when she said she was 17. Defense attorney seized on the discrepancies to paint her as a liar and opportunist. In the end, juries acquitted Kelly and his co-defendants on the charges related to Van Allen's testimony. The minor victim, who was added to the superseding indictment, had told the grand jury Kelly first sexually abused her in New York, but that never came out at trial. At the grand jury meeting, Cruel said they were adding a new victim to the charges who was a schoolmate of Kelly's goddaughter and was also alleged to have been sexually abused by the singer multiple times when she was a minor. Quote, one of them in particular, the very first one, happened on a trip to New York City that she described an encounter happened in New York City at a hotel there, end quote. Cruel said in her presentation to the grand jury. Quote, then she described many other encounters with Mr. Kelly, all happening when she was under 18. And so, because of that, we are adding her to the indictment, end quote. Cruel said the abuse continued after the victim, who at trial went by the synonym Brittany. Isn't that who we didn't hear from, you guys? I could be wrong. I don't know. I thought it was Stacy that... I'm kind of confused. I don't know if it was Stacy we didn't hear. I thought we heard from Stacy. Y'all put in the chat. But that's interesting because you guys, we never heard from Brittany. We never saw her. So I'm curious to see if maybe this is going to tell why. Let me continue. Became legally an adult. Quote, but for purposes of this charge, we're only focusing on the conduct that happened to her when she was under 18, end quote. At trial, prosecutors promised juries that they'd hear directly from Brittany, but she was never called as a witness for reasons unexplained. I knew it. I was like, okay, I couldn't remember if it was Stacy or Brittany, so it was Brittany. Okay. And I was wondering why. Probably because her stuff happened predominantly in New York. Just maybe. You know, just maybe. I don't know. Anyways, let's continue. Instead, jurors were asked to rely on testimony from other witnesses, including Jane, who said Kelly engaged her in threesomes with Brittany between 5 and 10 times. Another victim, Pauline, told the jury that Kelly also had threesomes with her and Brittany when Pauline was 15 or 16, and said Brittany is about a year older than her. Pauline said when she was 20, she called Kelly's business posing as Brittany and threatened to go public about some wrongdoing if he didn't give her money. Quote, well, he called it extortion, end quote. Pauline told the jury. Quote, I called it don't play with me, end quote. But Brittany's absence did not go unnoticed by the jury, which acquitted Kelly of the enticement counts related to her accusations. Wow. So, you guys, that is it in regards to it, okay? So, you guys heard, briefly, what was made to the grand jury, when McDavid put in that request, okay, of the prosecution to deposit their check. Okay, so we were able to hear some of the nuances when it comes to everything, which is very interesting enough. Let's pinpoint a few, okay, with the grand jury, wondering where that fourth tape is. I would have to say that I think that they got rid of it. It's gone. Now, if it's any copies, who's to say? But I really think that that's the reason why we never saw it. We never heard about it. They know it exists, but they got rid of it. You know what I'm saying? And in regards to Aaliyah's marriage and not being on here, that is interesting enough, right? But they missed it. They missed that little threshold of being able to use her here as well. Now, many of you guys may remember I actually came out with you guys, telling you guys how they wanted to put Geronda on this case, right? And Geronda was like, no, she doesn't want to testify. You know what I'm saying? I because when I told you guys about that, because she was just kind of over all of this whole R. Kelly stuff. I did a video in regards to that, how she said she regrets even testifying, which sucks because, she shouldn't have gotten scrutinized about coming out and being honest with her story, And then y'all, oh my gosh, like how devastating is that to hear about Palladino, you know what I'm saying? Jack or whatever, dying like that with that botched robbery and him, tussling with these people, shooting and losing his life in the midst of it. Like, that's disturbing. And right before, wasn't it right before? Yeah, it was last year. Him dying last year. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, right there, I wish it was a testimony given, like they gathered up everything, right? And then, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I can give two craps about Lisa Van Allen being underage or not. Now, I know on the contrary, people are saying, well, it makes her testimony shaky. No, because a lot of them had their times off when it came to when they met R.Kelly or not. And my thing is that if prosecution would have left her as minor too, that would have been a red flag to me. Like, wait a minute. But as soon as they noticed the change, the issue, and as soon as they verified it, they changed it. So, kudos. And then even in 2008, when she testified, she wasn't going as a victim. She was testifying as a witness to the abuse. You know what I'm saying? I would have to say, hey, you know what I'm saying? Kudos to them. But interesting enough to hear about us them not really fully getting the information from Britney to have them even insert them was interesting, but I get why. Okay. Because other young ladies had interactions with her. So they could have, they could attest for her, being present. But that is interesting enough as to why they didn't bring her on trial, on the stand. I think it's more so she probably got scared. I don't know. It could have been an array of different things as to why they didn't bring her on the stand. But case in point, Jane Doe number 9, Lizette, who recently just got married over the weekend. She wasn't in trial, but they got a testimony from her, labeling her Jane Doe number 9, So that's interesting enough that they did not add her testimony. Britney, get a sworn testimonial statement from her in regards to everything. But not for nothing, you guys, that is the video. Tell me what you guys think in the comments down below in regards to Lizette getting married over the weekend and becoming a missus, as well as the 5 things that were revealed in the filings upon the secret grand jury proceedings being exposed to the public for the few hours that it was exposed. What do you say in regards to what came out? Okay, not for nothing, you guys, I want to hear from you. Okay, but while you're there, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. And I'll see you on the next video. Until then, deuces. What up, what up? Hey, lovelies. We are now on Apple Podcasts. Yes. For my iPhone users, just a little something for you. Head over to the Apple Podcast app and type in Whitney DTV in the search bar and click the check to add me to your dashboard and listen to your girl on the go. Powered by Anchor FM by way of Spotify.